Each read for about 20 minutes. I think you'll enjoy the thing. John is actually going to introduce David, then I will introduce John, and then my students will introduce me. No, go ahead.
Okay, well, David Caddy is a poet from, you can probably tell from his voice, from England. And he's written a number of books over the years. Desire, which is here, The Man in Black, and the Bunny Poems, which are absolutely brilliant books. He's also a magazine editor. He wrote Tears in the Fence, which is, you know, when I was in school, you probably don't know this, our professors defined success for us as getting into Tears in the Fence at some point. So we were all very competitive about that.
Oh my word, yeah.
He's also a critic, and I love this book, which I just bought, and I've been looking at London City of Words, which is a nice look over London, literary London. And I just found out today that he's an ex-track star who actually beat Sebastian Coe, so all of my track dreams are...
It was a long time ago. Long time ago.
Okay, so, David Caddy.
Thank you very much. Well, so I'm going to read without too much comments on the poems, because I don't think there's too much of difficulty about them, really. And I'm going to start off with the first poem in the Bunny Poems book, which is called Natural Facts, and then read some other poems, and then go back to the collection. Bunny is a character, and his story is briefly that he lost his words, and the book is, the sequence is an imaginative reconstruction of how he regained his words through walking and drinking a great deal. And most of this poetry is poetry of place from the area where I live and grew up. And natural facts. 1. Gypsy kids skin stags, leaving guts outside Frampton House for all to see. Poaching pools clutch knives, slip throats, make a heap of heads, telling Taylor he can stuff his chute. Animal rescue workers fight like ferrets in a bag, occupying a quaint urban quarter. When a man knew horse shit from sprays, could count lapwings, was paid in pence. When a man knew bend from hack, near from far, grist from grizzle. It was all subterranean, somehow so hidden and unsaid, like a kettle with a silent whistle. A concentration, a deepening of the gaze. 2. At home, we came to speech late, sometimes not at all. Fear of sky, those higher, bound us to village, the call. Following trails across 3 corners, a stillness clings to boundary. How the template can break, be lived as something else. We ate incessantly, like broilers, storing for those times that might come, that might steal us from mother. We ate in silence. Instead of emotion, pigs and dogs one knew and fed. In the face of thought, undug plots, grass to be cut, the lure of light, an absence of fruit, reading matter. Church Hill. I have been there, and I'm impatient to return. Silent and motionless, it is surrounded. With each step, we get closer. I can speak of this virus that loiters by the wire fence, of the prattle that passes for dialogue, the wind that lashes a man's throat. I propose to you a hill. In the woods, rooks call attention to our presence. Our bodies are full of expectation. It hurts to live the way we do, wanting so much, unable to cope with this longing, unwilling to wait. The landscape we love grows dark so easily. Turning back, we feel the need to stop and linger. We move, stop, are soon gone. The gates are locked. The gates are locked and the cottage bereft. There is no way inside to hush the memories. What possessed them to walk, to forgo, forget? For 2 penneth, I would ask them back. I would probe that darkness that dug deep, gouged and butted with its chisel head, till the ledger is revealed and the deal set aside next to the gristle and bone. To say, clear this field of stone and dry my lips, would only be part of the key. Wood rasped and so easily slighted, too long without alignment to knuckle down. They say the landlord may have been heartless. They say there may have been murder afoot. His wife was not proud, and the spirit level sometimes off-centre to the plane and drill. Hopes and aspirations dimmed by shame, clamped down, lust or some whispering trade. So much to consider when they're not here, so little said when they were running about. The lathe is quiet, the bedroom window cracked, and the crowd standing intent. These words uttered to immensity. Hoofbeat upon hoofbeat, the tip-taps of black horses, hard-driven, stamping, coming over the hills. Stooped horsemen with wine and scales, making line across the edgeland, cracking whips, market sacraments. Binger-swept increments ooze as they daydream, detach, testing their steeds for roots need to hold. This survivor's day, my pneumatic cough drowned by distant, yet prescient sound to static trance, not quite forbearance. To hell with pressured debt, leniency, let the earth tighten in trauma, let sun burn against stream, fierce lesions tremble at goad. Let me rub your back, redress your bandage, retrieve your axe and wood, ask to pay less rent, set foot and nail to the scorched earth. Okay, those are the kind of poems to sort of set the scene of Bunny's landscape and what happens to it. So I'm now going to read some of the actual Bunny poems, not the poems which refer to his loss of words, but poems that actually come from when he's out walking and the things that happen to him involving birds and plants and so on. But the beginning is a sort of writing about his landscape by not writing about it. Bunny's landscape. 1. Drift in the counter direction and it feels like hail sweeping over the hills and pounding on your door. When you, wastrel, you can't look down shafts of wormholes and don't see the marauding earwigs, centipedes and dung beetles congregating by your step and footstool. Look at those events, births and deaths, luncheons, not as inconsequential to your employment, to your devotion to history, to three-dimensional coordinates, line and volume, the fallacies of Cartesian logic and universal growth, rather as subtle gestures and impulses for oncoming meteors, cooling stars, extrasolar activity. 2. Knee and crag stresses jerk sounds from howling dog to starling call, yapping percussion and trumpet. The pheasant possesses the ground upon which it runs, as alto-cumulus inhabits the mackerel beds. Seeking a word to make change, I choose voice, the alt erotica of accent and localized sensation. Listen, those meandering protons touch more than grass, scattering at mid-latitudes in geomagnetic storms. My lover's brassy voice looks within and looks around my body to find arteries, nerves and receptive pores. She perforates my restless aura regardless of time, absolutely makes me tongue-tied at dinner parties. 3. Here in this factory with so many men stealing moments, a bike pump, some oil. The bells, the market, the drove, it's Monday. Rooting around my beard to find a chisel. Cecil keeps his pencil behind his ear. I must burst the bubble in my spirit level. If you look twice at me, I'll give you one finger. No one takes away my fidelity. Alert to the tactile, brass on wrist, yet full of mustn'ts, don'ts, do. Touch me without fear. I will walk towards you if I must. Basically, this guy walked and he got down on his hands and knees. A lot of people do it still. He goes into a land which is actually owned by Madonna, Mrs. Ritchie as we knew her, as in Madonna Ciccone. So this is on her land in England. It's called The Creeper Has Been Out All Night. And it's a bloody mess down there. The creeper has been out all night. Creep through fetters, garbled pheasant, chalked husks of encounter, squeaking, amiss and rent. O rose, thou art sick, phlebitis to pulmonary embolism. This way carries the weight of conflict, druidic mistletoe, absent finches, verderers, landowners, keepers, in defiance, annulment, encroachment. Chase law, ancient rites expunged. Now Madonna has added fancy trees to her killing bowl and flown off. Seek toothwort, valerian, hazelnuts. Off the track debris, knife-edged tension, stoked into fury, tightening snare, snake in the grass, daubed, veined in black, pulse race with woodpecker, slate eyes. The creeper has been out all night. Dearest, I send this to you as a gift. I have no other beyond my questions. Keep your song as sharp as a blade. The guy lives in a caravan without electricity and he has a little plot, a garden plot. And this poem is called When the Redstart Arrives, which is a bird which only comes in the coldest of weather where he lives. When the redstart arrives, I say goodbye to the hurry by the fork and start to shiver as if the flu were a time slip rather than a recognition, as if I could drink less and still possess this slimming design on my nerves and rise to put away those pails of spilt milk that course like lurchers with their tails between their legs, betwixt and between keepers and finders, and still have time to take back the bacon or reconsider the fate of those unaware it is night. And it is night when there are no lights to put out, no furrow edging, only this plump bird that has come to tap, tap and bob. I look at this start under candlelight and swear it has a luminous beak, black seedy eyes, and curse it will drink me under the table or be turned into a pirate. I throw corn at this migrant and consider flight. Oh no, no, come back, I've got more, look! No absolutes, conquers, insecticides, our mutual track, veracity, would sooner chisel and turn my hand, gouge every twist tenuous, and avoid the ice. The smallest movement that is not the wind, turns my nerves so that I begin to see and move carefully. A footstep agitates my consciousness as the connecting threads of a comma sustain my longevity. Wild swans at Stir Mill. Faint churr and thrust through rush and lily until the sluice gates temper and probe. The water seems to stagnate and browse, yet lower down it teems willy-nilly. As the swans test the bank and unknown, the world revolves around them. They could take flight or pursue other options. They ceremoniously tread the path to the left. Water glistens, breathing. Great soap bubbles and froth swirl, lover after lover, firm upon stamen and root, tight at nerve ends, edged stubble, and eroded mud to where the river softens around islands and begins to ripple towards a charge. Alert and undiminished perception feeds need, a simple instinct held and executed with all its attendant dangers from human disturbance. Iodine, hooks, nitrogen overload as the stir current speeds. Okay, to finish some very different poems from a sequence of love poems. An orange tip is a butterfly that only lives for a few days. Maybe 24 or 48 hours is the usual.
Sorry to interrupt, but is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He's a little out of it.
Okay, we don't need to call ambulance right now.
No, he seems fine.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
That's no problem. Yeah, so, flight. Smoothing out layers and layers as Elamy wafts on a soft breeze. An orange tip hesitates and trembles in rugged underworlds. Her beauty respects cognition. Her eyes give birth to snakes. Her extended extemporization changes men's minds. A calling unfolds delicately, stirring fires. Her light marks transience, a luminous enhancement, the last ashes of a great fire. Love's pain, my invitation unencumbered by condition, reckoning, or indifference, saturated by separation. I have a fantastic commentary on an unknown. Her presence defines a space where what might be, might not be in a flash. There is no answer, only translation splayed out and thrust in pride and supplication. My broken heart insists on shouting in silence. tries hard to elevate the instant and piercing unease to an eternal moment. The new black. Clearance fire. Returns. Gists. Disappearing heaps. Logs. Pitta. Veggie soup. Pasta. With hens pecking. Half glimpsed. Wings. Near fading light. A movement of cobwebs. Discreet words. Slight slope. A cat stops. Stalks. Retreats. Fat is the new black, she declares, her smile effectively, unexpectedly igniting the night. Finally, to you. You are a secret slippery passage, a seepage of fern, sedge, sorrel. You're a wetness that tongues it loud and lashed to the moment. A seed carried by crow, cute to bite. A cultured concretion. You have everything. Drama, tension, rush, slurps. A new cast, fibrous with leaves. Pistils of chorus. Fresh as holy water, succulent as peach. A sacred convergence, an open heart upon a table. Sweet the 5 rivers, possibility, living, representing every man and woman that needs a voice and echo. You are an exquisite shell, gift of water, empathy, a network of bright threads catching shine. You are a stolen tear, a lush, part blush, the long night coming down, hot and naked. Let me lick, data prune your gem, respect your hum, humility, and call you by your name. So thank you very much for listening.